welcome to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I'm your host, Renee Murdoch. I was just cheesing. So I'm so happy that you are tuning in on today. I'm so happy that you are following, you're liking, you're subscribing, you're enjoying the conversation, and I'm glad to be going on this journey with you as well. Because my motto is, we were never meant to do life alone. So you're going to keep hearing it until you actually believe it, because we were. And so I just want to say, hey, thanks for hanging out with me for this short period of time. Like, we like to just get in and get out, whatever, and just kind of talk about some things. Sometimes when the conversation gets really good and people are sharing and carrying on, you can go from 10 minutes all the way up to 5 hours. I don't know. Have you talked to someone that long where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 5 hours? Have you? That's a good thing, because I don't know, let's talk about that. Not actually that, but because that's like part of the thing of building relationships, but how about just dwelling amongst one another? How does that look? Why is it so challenging? Why is it so difficult just to dwell together? Whether that be in our homes, whether that be, on our jobs, on teams, in our ecosystem. Why is it that it's so challenging for us just to dwell together? Just to be with one another, to share a space, like this space, whatever. Because I had this thing, right? Before the pandemic, right? One thing that I really enjoyed about the pandemic, I know y'all like, did she use the word enjoy and pandemic in the same sentence? Yes, I did. And that was the 6 feet, right? The 6 feet that you must be for one another when you're in checkout, when you're just standing in line for anything. It was 6 feet. It was 6 feet. You know why? Because people don't understand personal space, right? And so that's what I'm talking about, this dwelling amongst one another, of just being in other people's spaces, intruding on their space, so to speak, because you can dwell together, right, and not intrude on anyone else's personal space. Like, I used to look like, are we together? I literally said that a couple of times to people. And Biscuit was like, did you just ask? Yes, I did. Because I really thought we were together. Because you know how, like, when you're standing in line and you're with your friend or your family member, and y'all actually standing in line together, like, they have their things that they're going to purchase, you have your things that you're going to purchase, but you all are standing in line together. Like, that's the way it was feeling, right? That we were together. I don't even know your name, okay? And so I know we're not together, but I'm asking you if we are together, to just get some clear understanding of why are you right here? Why can you smell me, right? Why can I hear what's going on your phone? Why can I hear, like, we're not together. So back it up, sir, ma'am, child. I am so serious here. Like, what? But anyway, but that does, we can dwell together without the tenacity of things going on. Here we go again. Here's Muscle again, trying to get some spotlight and trying to get some shine. Okay, Muscle, look. You want to, look, say hi. Say hi to the people. Come back. Come back and say hi. Say hi. Say hello. Okay, now I'm going somewhere. All right, so I think he knows, right, when I'm recording, because he's just, he's somewhere else, and then he just tacks his little way back over here. And I also think because of the time change, he's a little off as well, because it's not time to eat yet. But he still thinks that it's time to eat. Like, every hour he's coming back like it's time to eat, and it's not. So just be patient, my friend. Be patient. All right, so when we're talking about dwelling together, there's so many different ways or avenues that we could talk about dwelling together amongst one another. And so there could be that co-housing, like living in right intentional communities that are made up right within a city, right within whatever particular land structure or whatnot. And then there's also like dwelling together with your roommate. You decide like, hey, I want to have a roommate. I don't want to live alone, and so you decide to co habitate together in an environment, right? And then you have this family dynamics that's happening right in close quarters, right? And then there's also the other part is, what I want to touch on a little bit, which I started off with, is why is it so hard? And why is it so important for us to really dwell together amongst one another, right? And so when we think about the family dynamics, and I'm gonna just go there first because, yeah, I'm gonna go there first because, right, there's so many different dynamics when it comes to family. It's just so many different scenarios that end up taking place, right? And in different cultures, depending on the way that environment, that culture, particularly thinks about family, right? Kind of constructs, right, what is happening in those homes. So some families believe that, hey, the man and woman lives together. That's it. They may have children. Once they have children, then boom, right? The child or the children grow up, and then they go out the home, right? And then as they get older, they might go live with the child. The child might come back and live with them if they don't want to move. And so there's just those dynamics, right? Then there's the dynamics of man, wife, come together, right? Man, woman come together, right? Married, and then they might go stay with the husband's family, right? They're in there, they're with the husband's family. That's where they're at. They have children. That's where they're at. The child grows up, right? They go off to whatever, and then they come back, and they're there at the home still, and they're there until they get married. So this is another dynamics, right? Then there's the dynamics of, okay, now we have grandparents and children that are grown, that are living in the house, and they have their children, they're living in the house, or maybe your aunt or your uncle is living there. There's just so many different dynamics when it comes to the family structure that, hey, if you can make it work, make it work. And what are those things that we need to be known that we need to do to make it work? Based upon just recently what I just shared with you, right? Giving people their personal space. Just because we are in the same construct of a home does not mean that we get to invade on one another. So if someone is, reading right in a corner and, it's quiet in the area, why would you come in that area and play your music on your phone with no headphones? Why would you do that? Why? Why would you do that? We need to be more self-aware. We need to be more kind and considerate of other people and what they're doing. If it's something that like, oh, I have to do my workout and this is the TV that's here and I need a TV, then why not have a conversation with that person that's in that same space that's reading, other than just invading your personal wants, because it's not necessary, right? It's a want, right? It's something that you want to do. And so you invade on their time and in their space. So it's just not being considerate. It's just not. And so there's just multiple, scenarios where this is happening, right? Like you make something in the kitchen and you don't clean up after yourself. Why? You're not being a good mate, a good participant, a good person by not cleaning up after yourself. Clean as you go. So they say. It makes life so much easier at the end of it. But just to cook and then just to leave your dishes and everything all over the place and then go on about your business, leave, whatever, go to your room, whatever, that's just straight up rude and inconsiderate. And so this is why there is this struggle of, having everyone stay in the home, right? And you're just like, no, you need to go get your own place. You just need to be out of the vicinity of where I am, because you just don't want to abide by this right here, which is respecting everybody's space and being a part of a family, being a part of a team, pulling your weight. That's really what it is. It's just pulling your weight in the thing, in the design of things, not just doing willy-nilly of what you want to do, but actually just pulling your weight in what needs to get done. And so I'm just like, what? Like, why? We can save a lot of money, right, if we were able to do that. So just think about back on the prairie days, right? And they didn't have like all of these rooms and everything of that nature, and in the living area and the eating in the dining room and then the kitchen and the bedrooms and all this. There was not that, right? There was just this continual, we need to be together as a family, respect one another in this space, whatever. And they did a lot of things together as a family, right? So that was kind of like that kind of construct, that culture that was there. And then we kind of moved out of that. Our homes got bigger as centuries went on. And then we still did things as family, right? But we kind of like, hey, I want to do this right now, whatever. And these are my interests right now. And so that's exactly what, we get into the time period of which we are in, when we have to be intentional about coming together to spend time together. And then we are doing things separately, all at the same time. But when you invade on other people and you are not respectful of other people, that's what makes it challenging to live together. Because even if you say like you went off to school, right? You maybe experienced this in college, right? Or in the service where you had the roommate and you were clean and they were not. Or you were a person that went to bed early and they went to bed late. Or you rose early and they rose late. It's just those type of things that, it's just you're with someone that does things differently than what you do. And if that's the case, that's fine, because we're all made differently, right? Shaped, designed differently, and have our own likenesses and ways. The thing about it is that when we dwell together, we must respect one another. And that's the key, respect. Because it just, we just don't respect people nowadays. We have an entitlement attitude. We want people to treat us a certain way, but we don't want to treat people the same way that we want to be treated. And that's just, the thinking is just not right when it comes to that. So we have to think about what it is that we are, not what it is that we need to do, but it's just the fact of like, if we want to build healthy relationships and we want to be more family oriented, then we are going to have to be able to look at, hey, I need to respect this person, and we need to come together and we need to talk about it. We don't need to just, forget about, the other person and think about ourselves, right? We need to think about everyone else in this environment. I love this cereal, and I just want to eat this cereal every single day. Well, then if that's the case, then go buy your own box. But if it's a box for everyone, then you can't eat that cereal every day. You know why? Because if you eat the cereal every day, then no one else gets the cereal. Only you do. Now, is that right? Some of you might be like, well, why does it matter? It matters because it's a community product. It is not yours. That means that if you want to eat that cereal every single day, then you would need to do what? You would need to go get your own box. It's just that simple. It's not that hard. Just get your own box. And so, or it's almost like, when you have the teenager, right, and they decide that they want to drink up all the juice, and they only leave this much just so they can say that they didn't drink it all. Yeah, I know that's just that bringing back some flashbacks for some of you all. You might have some PTSD. Calm down, take a deep breath, okay? But it is possible to live together in harmony when we respect and honor one another. I was telling my cousin the other day that I don't mind, right, living with people or my child coming back, after a while, and they stay right until they go off and get married. Or when they got married, they stay. I had to think about this because when people do it now, I'm just kind of like, what's wrong with them? Man? And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I don't really mind. I don't mind if they are respectful of the household. Now, if they want to move and, do whatever, all they want to, then you are going to have to go get your own place. But here, you can't do that. And so if you can't respect the rules here, then you're going to go get your own spot, which is fine. No love lost. And if you are being asked to leave because we just can't seem to come to an agreement, no love lost. There shouldn't be any love lost. Why do we want to get upset with people because they're like, yeah, it's not working out? Or maybe the person that moved in and say, no, it is not working out. Why are we in our feelings? It's actually honorable that someone is telling you, yeah, it's not working out. I think I'm just going to go ahead and move. Right? They're moving in the right way, right? Not just leaving you high and dry if y'all had some financial agreement or whatever, but leaving in the right way. I'm talking about that scenario. Or maybe your parent or whoever is asking you to leave, right? So, because it ain't working out. It's not working out. And I want to remain friends with you. I want to remain in a good relationship with you. So I'm just going to, be like, whoop, okay, it's not good. But it really would be if we just respect one another, right? And we just really communicate with one another, things of that nature. But you can't come into a space. Okay, this is like really for young people that just still living with their parents or want to go back and live with their parents, that you can't change the rules of their house. Like, no, but they should respect you as well, though, right? So they shouldn't be all up in your business, right? And you ain't all up in their business. But the respect is, hey, these are the rules of the house, right? We don't want anyone coming up and out of here. I need to know who's in my house, things of that nature. And so we have this thing here because there's this dog, right? And his whole job, right? His job, I guess, he takes some breaks, he takes some rest, he takes some days off. But his primary focus is, to watch, to be on alert, to be ready for anything, right? And so if you ring that doorbell, what's going to happen? He about to, whoop, 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 And so if you ring that doorbell at 3 a.m. in the morning, are you waking up everybody? Because he's just not going to stop. He's not just going to stop like that. Even if you're the person that lives here, he's still going to be barking. And then when you come in the house, then he got to sniff you out. Is this really this person? And then, everything calm down. But are you going to go right back to sleep? Probably not. So if I gotta go through this every weekend or every other day, right? We're just not doing that. Or even if you had a key, right, and you're coming in or whatever, then we still got to deal with that on a different level, but we still got to deal with it, right? So what do we say? Oh yeah, we shutting it down. At midnight, we shut it down. That's it. Don't be coming ringing our doorbell. Don't be coming up and in here, And that's one of the reasons why, right, I'm just getting short. That's one of the reasons why. And so again, you would have to respect that. So again, it is possible to live together and to pull your weight, cleaning up after yourself, putting in some monetarily things of, making your way, right, and financially, and helping out with things like you, where you go to the light switch come on and you're not paying into it. Okay, yeah, I didn't think there was anything out there. I was really thinking myself, but seriously, we got to think about that, because it's not a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing when we don't respect one another, when we abuse those privileges from other people and try to manipulate situations. That's when it becomes a bad thing. That's when it becomes a bad thing. And so, I just want to encourage you, right, just to kind of look at your family dynamics and see, can we dwell together, right, in unity, in harmony, right, and begin to talk more to one another about the things that might be challenging in that space, right, so people will know and understand that, hey, we need to be more mindful of one another. We just can't do what we want to do when we want to do it. Come up with a schedule, right? Like, if you're going to make your own things, then blah, or maybe this is the day where we make family dinner and everybody can partake in it, right? If you only have one real living space, or maybe you have a movie theater room, hey, this is our day that we do this in here or whatever. Like, make a schedule, talk about it, and don't just assume that it's going to work out that way, because it's just not. It's just not going to work itself out, okay? You're going to have a conversation about it. I can't remember the other thing that we're supposed to be talking about. Why I think we were already talking about why is it so hard, right? And then why is it so important? And I think, again, it's important because we should not be living or doing life by ourselves. We should have a community of people that we are engaged with, right, on a daily basis. And I'm not talking about just online in the virtual environment, but actually that social connection, right, that human touch that we all need in some shape or form, right? So, if you're a person that, works from home all day long, and then you happen to get in this space and there's other adults and you've been in that space for, I'm talking about days, months, whatever, and you begin to talk and you just can't be quiet, and you think to yourself, like, why can't I be quiet? I don't even talk this much. Because it's that social interaction that now all of a sudden there's this outlet, right, that you initially haven't had, even though you might have been talking to people in the virtual space, but it's just that human connection, right, that we also dwell for. That's why people want friends, and they want to be a part of a community, and they want to be in a club or whatnot. Because even people that are introverts, they still want some type of connection. They might not need a huge community or place to go to, but even if it's just one or two people, they enjoy, right, the small settings and things, but it's just still that social connection that we all desire, right? So it doesn't have to be that hard, but we make it hard on ourselves because we don't communicate with one another. Even in our community, we don't communicate with one another. And so we make it more challenging than what it has to be. It don't have to be that challenging, but we make it challenging, right? Even on our jobs, we make it challenging. Being in a team environment, I just go off and I just do it myself. Can you do it yourself? I would beg to differ. Because someone has to look at something, someone has to approve something, you got to go get a resource from somewhere. So you're not doing it by yourself. Although you want to believe that you're doing it by yourself, but you're not doing it by yourself. You're just having challenges working with the people that you're currently working with. Can those challenges be fixed? I would say yes, they can be fixed because you can communicate what your challenges that you're having. You don't know why the person is doing what they're doing. So how about you ask a question? Other than being frustrated, other than throwing up the deuces and like, I'm out, I ain't gotta take this, I ain't gotta deal with this, when you could literally just ask the person or people, why are you doing what you're doing the way you're doing it? If if they're not turning something in and it's preventing you from getting your part done, then say that. Hey, I'm unable to complete this if I don't have this. Can you get that to me by such and such? It's not hard. It's not hard. And it's so much better. It's so much better when we're working together. You ever been on a team and you're like, man, this is so awesome. Like everybody's just working out, everybody's together and you're communicating and you're sharing your life together, you're eating together, you're just doing life together. And then disruption comes. Maybe a new person showed up and it shifts the whole dynamics of the team. Yeah, I've been there. I've been there, right? And so what do you do? Do everybody just kind of like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Or do you, adjust just a tad for the better of the team for the new person that came in? Or communicate with the new person. Like, hey, we don't do that over here. We work together. We communicate with one another. We make sure that everyone understands what's going on. We make sure that we're all together and on the same sheet of music before we go into another space. Yeah, we don't make promises to people without consulting the rest of the team first. We don't do that. People, communicate. We have to stop being afraid to have conversations with one another. Look, the only way you're going to know is if you have the conversation. And if you don't have the conversation, then you are setting yourself up for failure and you're setting everyone else up for failure. But if you have the conversation, golly, I tell you, it will work out for the good. It will work out good for everybody. A lot of mishaps and a lot of discontent amongst one another will go away, will not be there because we decided to talk. And that leaves me with a really, really big word that starts with the letter M. Can anyone guess what that is? Yes, you're correct. You're correct. It's called maturity. It's called maturity. A mature person will recognize that, oh, we need to have a conversation. And I just need to express how this is affecting me. And then allow that person to talk. Right? So you all can get on the same page. So again, we're going to wrap this up, but I do want you to be encouraged, right? That we can dwell together in community as healthy individuals if we decide and be intentional about respecting one another's space. So I don't want to see you all up on my shoulder, okay, at the store and me trying to figure out, are we together or not? I don't want you, while I'm eating my meal at my table, coming over here and putting your fork in my plate and saying, let me taste that. No, we're not doing that. No, thank you. No, thank you. So be encouraged. Let us dwell together. And remember, leading is teachable. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.